like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella.
Hello there. Welcome to Alberto's La Bella Cuccina Hour. Today I want to say a special hello to my friend Michael Bolstead. Michael, get better. We want to see you playing football next time. Please do. God bless you. And today I have the pleasure to be with Dr. Bruce West, one of the best doctors in the area. Please say hello to him, and thank you for joining us, Dr. West.
Pleasure to be here.
That's great. Now tell us all about when you came from New York to the area. How long ago? 1975 or something like that, around there?
Yeah, I came from New York in 1975. Opened up a holistic clinic in Carmel.
That was actually one of the very first holistic
Yeah, it was pretty much
deals
the
in
first.
that, and even in the area, right?
Right.
Not even New York, but the area. Yes.
Correct. And that went on for a lot of years. That was a lot of work. I had a lot of staff, but it was a lot of fun. And right around 1984, I decided to make a change, and I began what's called Health Alert.
Health Alert, what you say? Which it goes to how many doctors in? It's
Health
like
Alert
a letter?
Health Alert is the first health newsletter that goes out to the public and to doctors. About 100,000 readers and about another 20,000 doctors, and that was the beginning of a whole industry. And now there's several others, but that was the first one.
The very first one that you, and then you're the first one, the pioneer of this. What's it called? The
Well, I guess you'd call
holistic.
it the holistic health newsletter field. Yeah, I founded that business.
And you can actually go to go see if you have a heart person and it comes to you. You can actually cure them with time, with patience, and with your advice, and some of them without no drugs and no incisions.
Everyone that comes to me has already been to pretty much everybody else. So
Which
they've
is
already
almost the end of it.
Yeah, they've already had most of the drugs or surgeries or both. And a lot of people come to me as a last resort. Primarily heart patients, but we do treat everybody. And I use a very unusual type of treatment, very specific extracts and concentrates that the person's heart is lacking. We put that into their system, in their diet and so on, and then we monitor them and check on their results as time goes by.
And it's 90% of it. Sure, 90% that you will save another life.
We probably have the best heart results that I know of, and certainly the most patients. We've seen 85,000 patients, which is a huge number over 30-something years.
Wow.
And a lot of people have written to us about what's happened to them. If people want to find out what our patients have to say about their heart or their problem and what happened to them, they can easily do that. Just go online to www.healthalert.com, click on testimonials, and you'll see hundreds of people.
And people they're grateful to your advice and to your wonderful wisdom as a doctor, which is it's a wonderful thing for them to be cured with no operations, and they're not afraid of it when they come to you to ask you for a cure of any kind, right?
Yeah, most everything.
Heart,
Predominantly heart, but we do treat everybody.
with the liver or whatever, Great.
Correct.
But you also advise them how to lose weight.
Well, that's kind of a natural part of getting better. You can't really get over a heart problem if you're going to.
What about would you advise people how to lose weight?
I don't get people asking me about how to lose weight. That's not something that
That's not your deal.
deal with. No.
This is don't eat. Don't eat pasta.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say
That's
that.
why you can't do that. Yeah.
Most of the weight problem is just processed and fast foods.
Right.
America
That's
is,
what all
is
America
addicted
is
to that, yeah.
addicted to a lot of hamburgers, and the hamburgers that's a lot of that
All processed
that
and fast
stuff that
foods,
you
yeah.
don't need that your body
Chemicals.
doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And actually, we don't exercise as much as any other individual exercise. Like you, for example, you played volleyball, or you played paddle tennis, and at your early age of 38, you look wonderful, doctor.
I'll be 66 in November.
Isn't that something? Yeah. But you enjoy a wonderful life with your kid,
Yeah.
and you play. You play with them. You swim. You
Yeah.
go on vacations.
Yeah, we both
You
surf.
enjoy-
We
you
both
go
are in
surf.
the ocean all the time.
And you came to this area to surf, or
I
because you
primarily
love the
came
ocean?
Here, yeah, I primarily came here to surf.
Really? And what about your career? You never thought of being
I thought that would take care of itself.
and you did revolutionize the whole area
I did. Yeah.
with your new holistic.
Didn't know that it would work out that way, but that's how it all came to be.
That is wonderful. That
I came here primarily for clean air and quiet and not so many crowds. New York City.
yeah.
Needed to get away from that, and love the ocean and dive, spearfish, surf, and now with my son who's 11.
Wonderful.
So we do that together.
What about New York? Did you go to school in New York?
I went to school in New York. I went to Manhattan College. I went to Columbia. Graduated grad school in New York. Drove a cab for a while around New York to earn a few bucks to
Wow.
get through grad school.
So that would have been tremendous stories of driving cabs. What do you tell us about driving? What's your best story of driving a cab? What was your shifts? Did they vary, or did you do it?
My shift was after class hours, which was about 3:30. I'd pick the cab up between 3:30 and 4, and I would work to whenever I wanted to quit.
Like, how do you do that? Did you pay a deposit to get a cab?
No.
Or they give you a cab and you pay them so much? Or
No,
you commission?
you pass a test, you get a license,
You pass a test.
and you get hired by a cab company. And when I lived on 71st Street, I would walk down to 59th Street and 10th Avenue, and there was like an underground garage, and you'd show up, and you'd say, take cab 54, and off you went.
And it's all checked out and everything ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go to work. The cab, the machine itself, it will not let you down
In
right
those
in the middle
days,
of traffic.
yeah, in those days, it was all on the meter, and at the end of the night, you kept half of the money in
And
the
you-
meter
you
plus
turned-
tips.
So you actually share the tips with the company, or you kept your tips?
I kept all the tips plus half of
Big
the
time.
meter. Yeah, and in those days, that was the best way to make the best money.
Driving a cab.
It was for me.
Yeah, but we're sure.
Part time and like that. But it got kind of old, and I really got to hate it after a while. I used to get nauseous at around 2:00 on my cab driving
And
days.
The traffic jams in there in New York is just unbelievable.
And everybody smoked, and they smoked.
Oh, boy.
Smoked in the cab. Oh gosh, it was.
So that's kind of disturbing. I mean, if somebody's smoking and you
And the car fumes. But
So-
the most part, it was just dangerous. There was no separation between me and the people in the back.
Right.
They could reach over and grab me anytime they wanted.
of course.
and
And they know you had little money. It was
Yeah.
no big money.
But,
Then
yeah, it was
what you
something.
carry? $100?
Maybe.
The change. That's what I'm
Maybe.
saying. Maybe. And some idiots they come in and that's wrong.
Yeah.
And for nothing, and that's really actually is a very how would I say, difficult, and not only difficult but dangerous
Dangerous. That
job,
was the main
especially
part.
at night.
Yeah, and it was always at night.
Would you pick up somebody and they say, take me to a kind of
where
a
you don't want to go.
exactly.
Take me to Brooklyn.
Oh,
I don't want to go to Brooklyn.
Oh.
But once they're in the cab, it gets kind of touchy. And a lot of young people, which I was then, had a lot of disdain for the police
Whoa.
for a variety of different reasons. But the police saved my hide a couple of times in the cab.
They do the job sometimes.
Yeah,
They're right there. They're alert. And
One guy saved me at about 2:00 in the morning in Brooklyn, and it was all coming down. The guy had me pull over. He was about ready to either kill me and take all the money,
Oh, my God.
or take the money or whatever. And out of nowhere, a squad car came
Thank
ripping
God.
up behind
Thank
me with his
God.
lights on. The guy ran out and disappeared in the alley, and I'm sitting there shaking.
Well, sure.
And the cop, well, it used to be, you say you never see a cop when you need one in New York, right? But this guy out of nowhere. And he just walks over to my car, and I roll the window down. I look at him. He says, "Are you having a good night?" I said, "I am now. Where did you come from?" He says, "I had a feeling where you were headed." He just got in his car and drove away, and I went home.
Wow. Well, you couldn't sleep probably for
Oh,
hours.
gosh.
Probably had a good drink before you go to bed, huh?
I can't
Those
remember.
those are terrifying ideas to go to New York and drive a cab, especially in the late hours in night.
Some parts of it were great. You meet some wonderful people. Made enough money to pay for graduate school. Got to know the city like the back of my hand. But after a while, it got old, and I just wanted to get
So you drove a cab for a year or two or
4 years,
4 years, my own.
3 days a week, and sometimes Saturdays.
Which Saturday is very busy.
Yeah.
And very busy at night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is New York lives at night.
And if it was raining, people would have a fist fight to get in your cab.
Really?
They'd knock each other in the gutter to get and jump in, and oh my goodness, it was madness.
Even during the rain, you get a lot of tips.
Of course, people needed a cab.
And in those days, did they call you? Come
Oh
to
no,
this
there's no
72
calling.
city? There was no
It's
calling.
all on the street. You just,
Did you just,
they just
hail
hail you.
cab?
Yeah.
Those days, there was no cells, no phone calls, no
And
radio in there.
I had a roommate then who was my age. He was a waiter. Besides, he went to graduate school with me. And we had this $100 bill. We called it the $100 bill.
Right.
And in New York, on a Friday night, if it's raining, you're lucky to get a cab. If you get a cab and you say, "Take me somewhere," and then you say to the cab, "You wait for me," that's like unheard of.
Forget it.
Because the cab's going, "Well, I could get 10 more fares while I wait for you. What are you, crazy?"
Yeah.
Well, my roommate and I had this deal all cooked up. He'd get a date. He'd have a date. We'd plan to meet him. I'd be drive up in my cab at 8 o'clock or whatever, and he'd be on the corner. He would pretend he didn't know me. Get in the cab. He'd say, "Take me to this club." I'd take him to this club. He'd take out the $100 bill.
Whoa.
And he'd say, "Wait for us."
Oh, yeah.
And the girl would go, "Oh my God. He just gave that guy a $100 bill and told him to wait for him." And they'd go in the club. I'd, of course, drive off and have 10 more fares. And we had our time set, 10:30. He was going to come out. 10:30, I'm right.
Boom.
Right there again, he comes out. The girl just goes, "Whoa." The $100 bill went back and forth hundreds of times in 4 years.
You never spend the money.
It was hilarious.
What a great trick. It's like a little.
Yeah, it was a trick.
You have the time to go back.
Well, I made, for him, we had...
You drive like crazy to
and
get
his
back.
trade for me was on Saturday mornings, I'd go to the restaurant and you'd get free breakfast.
All right, that was good. What kind of a restaurant was that?
Just one of the coffee
Yes,
shops.
yes, coffee shops. Yeah.
Like in the Seinfeld movie.
In one of those, they were the best. And I remember restaurants like that, and where I grew up, it's also in New York and also in Beverly Hills, they were the best coffee shops, Like I remember Nathan House, remember Nathan House?
Yeah.
La Cienega in Wilshire. I had the very best breakfast. I actually learned how to, the cooks, the fast order cooks, they were doing the pancakes and everything. About 7 minutes it took them to do the pancakes, fresh bacon, fresh house brown potatoes, and fresh eggs, all at the same time, 5 or 6 minutes. Your plate
there
in
you
there.
go.
Madonna, you've never seen so. I could do it then. I was early age,
yeah.
and many of those guys they were at there was right on the border of Beverly Hills and La Cienega, and David Jansen. I remember David Jansen was, and other actors. They will eat there because it was great.
Yeah.
And those places don't exist anymore. They're going out of business in that area. It was fabulous. We had Lowry's the prime rib. It was one of the best prime ribs I ever experienced in my life, and they used to serve like 1,000 dinners in there. It's all prime rib.
Yeah.
And USC used to go there and devour tons of prime rib in there. And the place was beautiful.
Yeah.
And you had a great time. But Lowry's disappeared. It just disappeared, not because of lack of business. I don't think so. But I don't know whatever happened to Lowry's.
Guy got worn out, probably.
What can you do? It's a very big company, Lowry's the prime rib,
Yeah.
And they have others, others that they have. They continue in business. They have the ingredients over the salt and peppers and dressings for salads.
Yeah.
And all of that. So Larry's is very famous in those days when I used to live in that area in Beverly Hills, and it was great too. Even Rodeo Drive, it was great. You could go to the Swiss Cafe, and they had great meals and all that. So we're going to continue talking to this, but we're going to continue talking about the carols. You remember carols that this gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
There's also what's the name? The Luau restaurant right across the street on Rodeo Drive.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the Luau was the Asian restaurant that it was very very famous in those days in Rodeo Drive, and then now it's gone, and I think it's not a restaurant, but it's something like Bichon or something like that. What else do we have? We have many other restaurants that they've gone out of business.
There was a place on, I think, 59th Street and 7th Avenue, right on the corner, right underneath the elevated subway. It was a coffee shop, but it was more than a coffee shop. It was a restaurant. And the kitchen was half the size of yours.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
you couldn't even move it there.
It was like a closet. And it was a Greek guy that owned the restaurant. And he had any kind of food you want. Japanese, Chinese, Greek, everything. There was 200 things on the menu. And he'd pump it out of that kitchen. And I'd go in there and I'd look around. How is he doing this? And it was all pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was packed day and night. Didn't matter what time of day or night. It was just packed at all times. And I always marveled at that guy, how he could do that.
Well, sometimes you're prepped.
Yeah, it had to be all prepped.
We're going to go to a message, but let's continue with this. With this Greek, what was this restaurant was?
Can't remember the name of it, but it was right in the middle, right in the heart of New York. Yeah.
Greek, they had how many tables?
Probably sat 100 people. 100 people.
100 people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know how the guy did it. And, yeah, I'm sure he had help and prep and waiters and everything, and everybody knew exactly what they were doing. But still, my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. Well, we're going to take a message and we'll be right back. In the meantime, we're talking to Dr. West about Greek restaurants and fabulous pizza joints. What about pizza joints?
Well, New York pizza
Pizza
speaks for itself.
The best, actually?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite pizza place?
I wouldn't know the names of them anymore.
Well, but I mean, in what streets or wherever you live down there?
Almost any pizza place in New York served really fantastic pizza. And New Jersey.
Jersey too, huh?
Jersey.
You familiar with New Jersey at all?
Yeah, I used to go to the beaches there.
Yeah. A lot of the Italian people there, and they're born there, like Sinatra, New Jersey, and Hoboken.
Oh yeah, every bar in Hoboken has a little picture of Frankie and says, "Dear Guido."
Yeah.
I love you, Guido, Frankie.
Guido, yeah. We don't like to call like Guido stuff.
Oh,
You get mad.
Yeah.
They call you paisano.
Yeah.
You won't get Guido. Guido is bad for.
What was his name?
That was Guido, the guy
The guy
from.
that owned the restaurant.
Oh, okay, no, because
bar.
Guido, or they call you other names. Those people don't like that to be called, names like that. So, what about you? Ever been to Hoboken?
Many, many, many times.
Yeah.
Used to be tremendous clam bars and oyster bars right on the river. And you'd be looking across the river, Hudson River, at the New York skyline, which was a dramatic view. And they'd bring you out a bucket of steamer clams. You'd have them with beer.
Is those like little necks or huge?
Little neck
Little
clams.
ones.
Little
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, it was great.
Actually, you never eat my clams in the restaurant.
I don't like clams anymore.
You don't?
No, I like mussels, but I don't like clams anymore.
I have mussels all the time. It's just that
I love your mussels.
they're great. Mussels,
Yeah.
are little ones,
Yeah.
and I put it, a little red sauce, gravy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fantastic. People love them. They have a good experience with that thing.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, tell us more about your medicines and your meds that you prescribe to.
My business is, and my work has grown to huge numbers in the last 30 years. And to see what I do, I really couldn't explain it in an hour, but it's really easy to find out on my website.
Yeah.
And we just carry on.
You still practice your?
Don't practice in an office. People from around the world send me their medical records and their x-rays and their lab tests and their blood and their urine and their problems, and it arrives at my office and we analyze it, take a look at it, develop a protocol to try to get them to recover from their problems based upon their testing and the information that we gather from them. And then they get started on their protocol and they come back to us on paper or email, whatever, in 90 days. We reevaluate, and usually by about 6 months, they're pretty much handled.
Wow.
So that's what we do. We do 20 to 30 new patients every single day, 365 days a year, nonstop.
But you're not at the office, or yes?
No, the office is too hectic for me. It's like a phone's ringing off the hook. You know, you go in there, it makes me nervous to be there. So I have a home office that I do the patient work at, and I've got
by computer.
and I've got a couple other great teachers that work for me that also do the patient work, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And I have no thoughts about retiring.
But no, you're a young
Why
man.
bother? Yeah,
Right,
I love what I'm doing. It's great.
Yeah,
We have about 25 people that work for us, mostly taking phone calls, answering questions, getting problems solved, and so on and so forth, helping people get what they need to get well, and sorting out all the paperwork.
Tell me, what do you think about the athletes, for example? That they get this vitamins, whatever they are, They say that we're going to the dark side. Or what kind of a deal is that?
Well, athletes today, it's they're so refined that the least little edge gives them an edge. And it could mean the difference between a gold medal and not making the Olympics. For example, an African girl came to me, and she had just finished bribing the president of her country to get a visa to get out of the country to go to the Olympic trials. She got out, and she was a top contender, and she was in training and this and that, and somehow she got led to me. And she was already doing everything you could do. I mean, she was a specimen. So she asked me, what else could I do that might help her? I said, well, if it were me, and I've had a lot of experience with athletics, I said, I would get an oxygen machine where you have these little portable machines. They're really great. Just plug them in. They turn air into oxygen. You put a little cannula in your nose, and you breathe pure oxygen for about 30 minutes, 5-6 days a week. I said, maybe that'll just give you a little tiny edge, what you need. And sure enough, she ended up doing great and won the Olympics with her on a relay team for her country.
Was it first?
Yeah.
She came out first? Wow. That's a great
story. I have no
story.
idea whether that helped her or not, but as far as the doping guys, it's really disappointing.
It is. Well, what do you think of what's his name? They won so many, bicycles.
Yeah. Lance
No?
Armstrong.
Armstrong, yeah.
So disappointing, so disheartening.
Tell me, what they put new blood every time that he went
I don't
into
really know what he did, so I can't
because
say.
he said, yeah,
know.
it's unbelievable. He never did actually detected whatever happened.
Yeah.
The guy continue winning races and more than that.
About around the time he won the fourth or the fifth one, this is after I think he had cancer, and he got over that and then won another one. All of a sudden I said to myself,
something's wrong.
Something's not right about this. But he was so outspoken about being anti-drug, I figured,
Right.
He's not doing any of that. But I guess, from what I read, I guess he was. It's very, very disheartening. But it's the new way.
but they say, I mean, you can't do that. I mean,
Well,
it's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like a boxer, you give him a pill and he punches harder and harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's like the TV wrestlers. We all know that they're all...
There you go.
But we know that. That's okay.
Yeah,
it's like a
fine.
show.
It's a fake, yeah.
Yeah, it's fake. It's for fun. And they're great athletes, though, by the way.
But
They're tremendous athletes.
They fall in that canvas. It's not just canvas.
No.
It's hard wood in there.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But the size of their muscle mass is so over the top. You can't do that as a normal human being without the chemistry that they're doing.
Well, they have to have some kind of deal in
And
there.
they're doing the steroid drugs, which enhance muscle growth.
Because these guys are humongous. I mean, have you watched those programs? They're
Unbelievable.
huge.
Unbelievable.
like huge. And then,
But it's a big price to pay. They're making a big, big sacrifice for that little few years of fame, and money, because it's going to come back and get them.
back in pain.
Oh, they could kill their liver, or their heart, or their brain, or who knows what, you know. I remember Lyle Alzado, he did that, and he got a brain tumor and died. But before he died, he went on TV, and he said, everybody out there, if you're thinking of doing steroid drugs, don't do it. This is what happens to you. And he died. He had a huge brain tumor
Out of that kind of.
from the drugs. So yeah, it's a weird thing. I certainly, no amount of
You
fame
would
or
not
money
recommend-
would ever
no.
coax me into doing something like that. It's just too crazy. But it's the new way.
You use that. You use that, and sometimes to cure people. You use glands of
Extracts of glands,
from what? From
animals,
animals.
mostly cows. We use glandular extracts, concentrates of different types of specialized organic vegetables that are high in certain nutrients. They concentrate them down without losing their life's value or power. Whereas a lot of other supplements or vitamins are basically made in a laboratory. And they're a little isolated fraction of the whole nutritional complex. And because they're an isolated fraction, your body can't really deal with it. So most of it just goes right out your urine. So people take a whole bunch of vitamins, for which they pay a lot of money.
And then,
And people don't know this, but a bottle of vitamins, often to make that, the label costs more than the vitamins for the manufacturer.
yeah.
It costs pennies. They sell it for $50. But it just basically goes right through your system, and that gives the whole world of nutritional or nutrition a bad name, because people try taking all this stuff. It doesn't do anything for them. And it doesn't. It just goes right through their
This
body.
vitamin C and all that you take and it just.
It's just no good. So now there are some good things, but after all my years and decades, I've learned that you need the whole food or the whole concentrate or the whole complex. So when you take it into your body goes, oh, and
That's
it
what you need.
uses it.
Absorbs
Yeah, it absorbs it, and your urine doesn't turn bright yellow, and like with all the other stuff. So that's the difference between me and most everybody else.
You're.
I try to stay
one
with.
kind of a doctor, one kind that that you discover all of this that does good things for your body without harming your body,
Exactly.
without poisoning your body. It's just having it the natural way to cure itself.
Right.
And you talk to other people and tell them how they're going to be cured and how long maybe it's going to take you to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you recommend exercise, like every day go and take a walk. And ride a couple
Everything is
miles.
my protocols are all encompassing.
Yeah.
You can't just give some pills and think that's going to do it. It's all encompassing. But I'm a biochemist by profession, so that means I like to study the chemistry of the body
Oh, yeah?
and what makes this gland or this organ or this muscle do this, and this, and how it all works together, and which material will enhance a certain function to help them get better, and so on. And so that's how my interest got sparked into my business, the biochemical angle of it. So, and when it comes to the heart, we've wasted a tremendous amount of time and money on cholesterol lowering and low-fat diets and all the rest of the general ilk of medical heart care, and it hasn't really done any good.
So why is this cholesterol all the time? Lower your cholesterol, it's too high, it's too big. And just don't eat sugar.
Well,
No?
that's part of it. We're on a big cholesterol lowering kick because there's a great deal of money in it.
There we go.
A great deal. It's probably the most money of any drug
Your
today.
cholesterol.
So as long as some people can get everybody to believe that take a drug to lower your cholesterol and you'll be better for your heart, it's going to continue on. Unfortunately, we've been doing it for 25 years now, and there's more heart patients and more people dying of heart disease than ever before.
And we're eating more and more the wrong things too. No vegetables, no meats. Is it actually meat really good for you? I mean, a lot, because meat, in order to get rid of it, your body works harder, wouldn't you think?
Meat, good quality
What's a
meat,
chunk of meat?
has gotten a bad reputation. It actually got to the point where they said eating meat causes you to have heart attacks and heart
attack.
disease. Unfortunately, that's not 100% true, because a lot of people couldn't exist if they didn't eat meat.
You get a lot of iron and
Yeah,
a lot
depending
of
upon your particular makeup and your blood chemistry and what blood type you are, if you're actually a meat eater by nature, what we call a carnivore, and you go vegetarian, you'll get sick and you'll wither away and die. And vice versa. If you're a vegetarian by nature, innately, and you eat meat every day of the week, you'll get heart disease and die. So you got to figure all that out when you make up a diet for people. And that's why the Mediterranean diet was a general healthy, raw food, whole food diet that does include some lean meat, some fish, eggs, cheese, butter, and lots of vegetables, olive oil. So it's a generally great diet. Now, some people that are really vegetarian by nature, they need less of the meat. And people that are really carnivorous by nature, they need a little more of the meat.
Well, we're going to listen a little bit more. We're going to go to a message, and we're going to continue with Dr. West telling us all about eggs and broccoli and all those things we're going to eat. So we're coming right back after this message. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to Alberto's restaurant. Come on in. At Alberto's, you will have a new experience at great Italian dining. We have fantastic pasta dishes like fettuccine alfredo and eggplant parmesan, and you have to come in and try the chicken marsala and the calamari con limone. I take great pride in everything I prepare, and I know you will love it. And what's dinner without a little wine? At Alberto's, we have a great selection of wines to go with your dinner.
Alberto's Restaurante in Pacific Grove.
Come and see us tonight. Salud. Salud.
How can you get a crispy restaurant tortilla bowl, but without frying it in oil, grease, and fat?
Just do what I do. Hi, Mark Gill here with the perfect tortilla pan. The fast, easy way to shape, bake, and create delicious tortilla bowls. Place any tortilla into the non-stick pan, pop it in the oven, and in just 5 minutes, perfect tortilla bowls that are always golden and crispy. Fill them with steak and peppers for a crunchy fajita bowl. Perfect Tortilla Pan's exclusive design works with all tortilla sizes, forming a deep-shaped edible bowl. Plus, it's all dishwasher safe. We'll send you not one, but 2 for just $10. Call right this minute and we'll double your order free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Every caller today will receive our cutting cup to slice, dice, chop, mince, and measure as it cuts. Yep, you get it all for just $10.
To order Perfect Tortilla for $10 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-292-0574 or order online at buyperfecttortilla.com.
Welcome back to Alberto's La Bella Cuccina. We are visiting with Dr. West, and he's giving us great advice about diet, how to eat, how to not to eat, good exercise, and all of that. Thank you, Dr. West. Tell us more about those great secrets of how to become thin and happy and have a good heart.
I don't know about becoming thin and happy. A lot of people are not thin, are very happy.
Yeah.
And in fact, a lot of people who are just maybe mildly overweight are relatively healthy and actually live as long or longer than some of the thin people. And it's sort of like...
What about carrying too much weight? It will bother the cavity in your heart. And
well, carrying too much weight definitely
it does that.
Stresses your body, for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, if it was a person like it was 40 pounds overweight, would have problems walking and...
Eventually.
Carrying all that weight on.
Sure, eventually.
Yeah.
And conversely, guys that do 2 or 3 marathons a month usually die early because they're just breaking their body down. Everything.
Your feet and
all that. It all started with, if you remember Jim Fix, the first really famous long-distance runner. I believe he dropped dead of a heart attack when he was like 50. And he was supposedly, the epitome of health because of all of his running and eating carefully and so on.
What do you think about these boxers? They get hit so hard in the liver and the head and all that. they get diseases like Muhammad Ali that he's he can't think anymore. I mean, he has this.
Yeah.
The shakes.
You know,
all the time.
it's really, that's another really kind of sad thing, especially with people like Muhammad Ali, who just got beat up
Great champion of the world.
too much. When I was a boy, I used to go to the PAL, the Police Athletic League, which is where all the kids went to get us off the street in New York. And I started to take up boxing. And my mother and father forbid me to go to boxing. But I wanted to do that because I didn't like to get beat up at school.
Right? Yeah.
So the cops were great. They taught us how to box, but I had to keep it a secret from my parents. So I told them I was taking first aid lifeguard training in the pool. So, and if ever, when we did our sparring, if I ever got clocked in the eye and if I got a little shiner, I would, because we all had dinner at the same table, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, I would sneak into my mother's bathroom and I would put powder under here.
Little
and
breakout.
nobody ever saw it. So they never even knew that I
That you were
took
taking
a couple of
boxing.
years of boxing with the PAL. But yeah, you can't get your head pounded around like today.
No, but especially the whole body. These kids are so. I love boxing, but I mean, I know that it's damaging for these guys' bodies. But they are so, and their abs are so like a wall. I've seen guys that they hit their abs with a kind of a deal, with a hammer.
Yeah.
Rubber hammer here like that, just to make it stronger. They don't feel that.
I don't know if they get too much damage in their torso and their organs and stuff, but
the head, and they get beat up in the head big time
because their
because
brain
the
gets
blow
knocked
comes in
around.
here, boom, like that. They keep going like this to hit them here,
Right.
And that's the bad part of the head to get hit, right, Doc?
Yeah, because your brain gets banged around inside of its own casing, gets
Exactly.
bruised,
So it gets inside of it. Goes
probably get a little bleeding going on in there from time to time.
That
You
is
never know
bad.
about it. And then it clears up, but all of a sudden you're 45, 50 years old and you can't even talk anymore. It's kind of sad.
It's sad. So what about football? Football, you get those quarterback concussions.
I don't know what's going to happen with football. I got a feeling we're not going to see football in another 20 years. I don't know.
I mean, the new kids, they're not going to be, they're going to not like to be exposed to that kind of punishment.
Well, there'll be plenty of players that'll always do it, but I don't know.
Things are changing a lot.
Things are changing, yeah.
To soccer, and soccer is getting more of a much better for the kids, and even little girls are playing soccer.
Yeah.
And tennis, of course. Tennis is
tremendous.
Yeah.
And in volleyball, beach volleyball. Of course,
there you go. You're a champion of that, huh?
We live in California, and the girls are just all over the beach volleyball. I took my son to a volleyball clinic during the week in the summer in Santa Barbara. And I'd never gone to it before, but I knew the guy who ran the clinic. He's an ex-professional volleyball player. Great guy, big guy like me, older now, my age, but still in great shape. And he puts on these clinics. So I called him up. I said, I'm going to bring my son down. We're going to enroll. So we go down for the first morning. We arrive at East Beach in Santa Barbara. There's 120 kids for this week-long volleyball tournament. And my friend John actually knows a lot of their names. He remembers names, and he's just playing with them and having fun with this and that. And I'm sitting there going, well, I can maybe learn 100 kids' names. He has 120 kids every week all summer.
Oh, boy.
10 weeks in a row. And 70% of them are girls.
Wow.
It's amazing. And they have a great time, and it's really healthy and
for them.
Fantastic. And they learn about sportsmanship and camaraderie and all the good things about sports.
Great.
Here's a guy that he is all the good things about sports. So
those are good things.
I thought that was really fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did poke around and tried some of the restaurants down there.
Did you really?
Not that much, but a little bit. But I didn't find anything.
What was your best experience in it? You had a lot of fish, a lot of...
I like a lot of fish.
Yeah?
And I like my Italian food, as you know.
Yeah, of course.
I've been going to your place for, 10, 12 years?
I think so. Since we opened in 2000, actually. I opened in 2000.
Oh, my God, is it
2000? 13 years.
Okay.
13 years, and,
Yeah.
serving the Pacific Grove area, the people in Pacific Grove.
Yeah.
Serving all the pasta of the world, all the best clams, everything, the best fish, I mean, they're 13 big time years. You know,
amazing.
besides Malibu, you never actually visited my restaurant in Malibu.
Never was at Orsini's.
Well, you have Orsini's. You have clients there, didn't you? Did you travel all the way up there?
Yeah, I get a lot of show business people
yeah.
that come to me, and they live down there.
Right. So they fly you up there, and then
I go down there sometimes, but L.A.
no more.
eh,
You're like Neil Diamond. You know,
I've had enough.
and enough
I grew up my whole life in New York City. I've had enough of crowds.
Neil Diamond says that about New York.
He doesn't live there anymore?
No, he lives in. Actually, the last time I saw him, he lived in Malibu.
Oh.
He was married to his first wife. I don't know now, but yeah, he used to.
Okay.
He used to live in Malibu. I remember one time he had a back operation. And I used to tell him, I said, don't do that. I mean, it's very intricate and it's very difficult to go. It's like having a full of wires.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
and going back in your back is not good. He says, never mind. He says, I'm going to do it because I'm in pain. So he says, I'll be in Mount Sinai. Would you bring me food? He likes Bill Parmesan. So here I am, you know, going to Mount Sinai. I have to call them, and he says to me, do not bring anybody. I don't like anybody to see me like this,
Right.
in bed like this,
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Okay, so I bring the food, and I'm at the lobby at Mount Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, and I got my box, and there he is at the lobby, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ah.
And Alberto, where you going? I said, I'm going upstairs to see a patient. I'm going to deliver his food. You know, he likes my food. He says, can I come over? Okay, so here we go. And he says, let's take the elevator to the 7th floor. There's no elevator. Let's got to be in shape. Let's go back upstairs.
Oh, my goodness.
With the Parmesan. So we got there, and it's me. Come on in. And you can see his face.
Brought somebody.
Yeah. He says, hello. And I said, you know who this man is? The champion of the world. Everybody knows him, you know,
He
better
didn't
than you.
recognize him.
No, it's just, everybody knows him, you know.
Yeah.
They said, well, hi. And that's all he wanted to say. Hello, Neil, get well, and all that. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
took off like that because he had to go and see other 40 patients that he wanted to say hello.
Ah, I got you.
So, and then he says, I told you not to bring anybody. I said, I couldn't do anything about it. This
Yeah,
guy,
really? Come
he's
on.
the champion of the world. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows him more than you.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks he's the best. So you, but I mean, they just, I don't want to see anybody to know that I'm
Oh,
here. They say, oh
gosh.
my God. I said, okay, Neil, did you have Parmesan?
Oh.
Be happy.
I used to love to go to Carmine's restaurant in Santa Monica.
Right. Used to be called the Casa de Oro, I remember.
It was on
Before
Santa Monica
Carmine's.
Boulevard.
Little place.
And Carmen was much like you. Very much like you. Looked like you.
No, I was a little bumpy.
He was a little bit shorter and
He had
a little
no
bit
hair
fatter.
like me either.
No
Oh,
hair.
yeah.
But he was a schmoozer. This guy, not one woman ever got past him to come into his restaurant with him. How you doing? You know, this and that. And I used to go in there because I knew that the sort of the L.A. mafia guys, they'd be in the back, and show business people would come and go. And I used to love to take dates there when I was single. And I took a date there one night. And of course, Carmen made her feel like $1 million before she even got in the door. We're sitting at a table just inside the door, and in walks Dean Martin's daughter, the real pretty one. I forget her name.
Gina?
No.
Gina.
But Dino was alive then. Dino, his son, was
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
She walks in with her husband, Dino, the son.
Dino Martin, the tennis player.
Dino Martin, the tennis player. Dean Martin's wife walks in, and then last coming in is Dean Martin. And as he comes in, he trips over the doorway and lands up
And you
right on our table. We're sitting here, and here's Dean Martin's head right there.
What are you doing?
My date is like looking at it like this. And he looks up and he goes, "Did you feel that earthquake?"
That was great.
And
That was
I
great.
cracked up. I mean, I
That
just
was
cracked
fantastic.
up. Yeah. But see, he had food like yours.
Thank you.
Carmine, that food. There'd be people, you'd be in the restaurant, and a guy who you didn't know sitting next to you go, "You gotta try this white sauce. This is the best white sauce." It was just the way it was, you know. It was fantastic. Everything in there was really great.
Everybody thought that Dean Martin was a drinker. He never drank.
I don't think he
Yeah,
was.
no, he had
I don't know if he
maybe a
was.
glass of wine or something like that.
Yeah.
But he never actually used to drink. I mean, his son, his daughters, and all that used to come to my restaurant, Orsini's, and they used to tell me, my dad doesn't drink.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to hit a few balls with the son, Dean Martin, that he could have been, you know, a champion. He was a
Right.
champion,
Yeah.
but you know, too bad that he crashed
Yeah.
his airplane. You know,
Yeah.
working for the United States of America. You know?
Now, Dean Martin is a guy that had a nice life, wouldn't you say?
Well, he was a very charming person. He was very, very likable. He never complained about anything. You know, he was very nice. I go back years ago with Sinatra was telling me one day both of them were appearing at the Sands, where the Sands was now the Caesar Palace, and they were working together and singing, you know, like they always used to do, and they were half of the room was empty. What's going on in here? This is, when we finish, we're going to go out and see what's going on the strip. So they went around and they saw the hotel packed. Who was that? Prima was working in there.
Louis Prima.
Louis Prima was there. He was packed.
Louis Prima was good. He was good.
Let's see who's this guy.
Yeah.
Louis Prima. He goes, blah,
Yeah, right.
And he says, I couldn't believe that this guy by himself, one guy, the whole place was packed.
Yeah.
With people, you know,
Yeah.
it's just I can't believe that we want to meet this man, and both of them went in there and say hi to Louis Prima, which was very unusual for Sinatra to and Mr. Martin to go and say something to to a guy like Louis Prima, you know.
Yeah.
But Louis Prima was a very dear and very talented person. I don't know in the 60s or 50s, he was huge. He was in New York and all over the world. I guess in Vegas.
The Louis Prima records when I was a kid.
In Las Vegas, you know, he used to be huge, you know.
But I always thought Dino had a good life. He had a great career. He's made records, made money at the TV show that he never even rehearsed for. He'd show up and just do it.
Yeah, no, because he was a character.
He was a natural.
He was a natural. He always was charming. He was a cigarette.
Yeah.
And, you know, dancing and doing his thing. And he was an amazing person.
Yeah.
He was amazing. The guy actually, you know, he never actually had a drink. You know, I saw him having a drink maybe once, you know, a glass of wine.
Mm.
You know, and his partner Jerry Lewis the same. They never drank that much. You know, so they were actually the way I met them, they were very nice people. And one day Jerry Lewis came in with about 8 kids. And
Jerry's kids.
And they started ordering to the waiter. He says, "I have root beer," and the other guy says, "I have 7-Up. I have Diet Coke." No. Bring Diet Coke to everybody. Forget it. So you see this guy's working here. You guys don't know. And the tip was phenomenal. The waiter was very happy with it because Jerry Lewis has tipped him a big time. So Martin, Mr. Sinatra, another guy that asked the parking attendant, "Who has ever given you the biggest tip? Tell me who it is." That was you. He says, "You." Oh, really? He said, yeah, him.
Yeah.
He used to tip them. You know, he took care of my car.
Yeah.
It's okay. So Sinatra, boom, you know,
Excellent.
pack, you know, come on. That was very generous. Most of those guys that were very generous in those days. You know, they will make sure that you.
Well, they came from that kind of stock, a working class stock. They knew what waitresses and waiters do and how hard it is.
Yeah, especially him. His mom had a bar.
There you go.
In Hoboken.
Yeah.
And it was like an Irish bar because they didn't want them to know that they were Sicilians.
Yeah.
So you know that his mom actually looked for a man that had blue eyes like you, so Sinatra will have blue eyes. They looked for it. They did. She did look for this man, and his dad was a boxer, and he had an Irish name, so they didn't know that he was Italian, but he wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So, you know, but the mom used to be the controller in the family. He used to say, whoa, shut up. And Sinatra used to sing between tables, you know, songs. It's a quarter for him. They used to call him pants, you know. He used to
pants, right? You wore them high.
You know, in those days, you know, in Hoboken, with all those big guys. We are continuing with this more talk about Sinatra, Hoboken, right after this message. And I remember he used to hang around in the bakery. In Hoboken, in Monroe Street. He used to tell me he used to hang out there with his pants, you know. He's a very lonely man, you know, because he didn't have many friends, because he was born, you know, just one. Yeah. And he had a little, you know why he had like that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
When he was a kid, he was very big.
Yeah.
and they got him. They got, when he was a baby. What's it called? Those things that they pull him out his head.
The forceps.
Forceps. So that's why he
I
had.
squeezed his head.
Yeah, they squeeze his little head. So it's like that. They call him like that. They call him what do they pants? They call him pants.
Pants.
Like Pantaleone, the new guy from Sopranos.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. But tell me about what was the other restaurant I used to go to?
I got introduced to Italian food in New York, of course. I had a girlfriend in college who was Italian. Her grandfather's name was Vincenzo Capra. We used to go over there and have Italian food. And then I fell in love with an Italian restaurant down in Little Italy in New York. I can't remember the name of it anymore, but
Whereabouts is that?
that's downtown near Greenwich Village.
Greenwich.
And the owner of that restaurant had three sons, and two of them moved to Carmel Valley, California. And they opened up a restaurant called La Campagna. This is back in the 70s. And it was the New York food, just like his dad used to make, and I was there all the time.
Every day.
It was so great, and you felt great to be around these guys, and so on and so forth. This went on for a lot of years, and then finally their wives made them move back to Staten Island with the kids to be around the family. The restaurant closed, and the only Italian restaurant I really had that I loved then was Carmine's. Right?
In Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica, and I didn't go down there very often, so.
So you used to
But
fly
then,
there?
like 13 years ago, you opened up your place.
Hey.
And I remember somebody said to me, there's this guy opened up an Italian joint on top of the hill there, and it's really good. You should check it out. And I thought, I don't know, at the top of the hill over there, doesn't look
attractive.
Isn't there like a laundromat there or something? Anyway, we went in, and sure enough, bing! I went, oh my God, this is the sauce I remember.
Yeah.
This is the kind of food I remember. And we started to learn about the different things that you make. Most of your fresh sauces, they're so New York and so fresh. They're not like somebody's got a kettle on the stove all day, boiling away.
You know what happens? It liquefies all of that.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. It liquefies, and then it's not good.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but I'd rather not. But I mean, people have their own techniques, their own way to do sauce. And that kind of sauce I was given secrets by Sinatra and by guys from New York.
Yeah.
And
But even my son recognized it when he was young.
Yeah.
Now he's 11 years old, right? He doesn't want Italian food any place at any other restaurant.
Thank you.
Because he knows about yours, Yeah. Wait, what do you want to go out tonight? Let's go to Carmine. Let's go to Alberto's. So.
Yeah, that's
he's been coming there from when he was not even born.
Oh boy, believe it or not, when I came here, I tried to get a restaurant in a central, where it's a good location and so forth, but I couldn't afford it. To go to Carmel, you have to pay $40,000 for 1,000 square feet.
Yeah,
and then not only that, then you have to furnish the place, and I need a ton of money to go there. But then I saw this little place. I said, I know what I'm doing. I don't care if it is a laundry next door.
Yeah.
You don't go to my restaurant for the
That's
view.
Right.
What do you go there for?
That's
to
right.
eat.
That's right.
That's all. They don't worry about the location. Actually, you save $10, $15 more than eating in Carmel.
Yeah.
So I said, why to go to the restaurant is to eat, to have a good time, to have great wines, to enjoy the ambiance, the food. That's where I'm at best. Otherwise, why bother having something that is not going to be good or paying tremendous rent because to want to be in Carmel?
And all the worry that goes with it.
Yes.
The headache.
And then utilities and your waiters. Mm-hmm. Here it's very, very rare for me to find a great waiter or captain or sommelier. It's very, very rare. They are certified sommeliers because food and Food Network and all of that, they're promoting all of that so that people are coming out from everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I want this, I'm a waiter, I'm a cook, and I'm this. But everybody says they're cooks, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not,
I don't know. A lot of people like that kind of Italian food that I don't like much. And I would simply say, try real Italian food a couple of times, and you might be surprised.
Yeah, but they only Los Angeles, my food. They love my food, and guess what? They're all from New York. Diamond, Don Rickles.
It is kind of an East Coast type.
Yeah, Don
Italian.
Rickles, Barbara Streisand. All of those guys were my clients. Yeah. Every night they would go there. Chicago, you name it. They used to go there. Fleetwood Mac. all of those guys used to eat in my restaurant. Why? Because it was not just the food from La Scala, which is La Scala was there, the very first restaurant ever existed on Mateo's. It was the food what they used to crave from. You know, they used to love that. They call it gravy. You know, and they said, yeah.
And the food at Campagna's in Little Italy and the food, in Carmel Valley, and the food at your place is very similar to Vincenzo Capra's Italian cooking. He's straight out of Italy.
Platter.
And I would go there with my girlfriend. I'd spend 4 or 5 hours having dinner with this family, right? And the food was just so spectacular, Italian and otherwise. And one of the uncles was a horse cop from Times Square.
Really?
And he drove around on a horse down in 42nd Street. But he was a closet chef. He wanted to be a chef. He didn't want to be a cop. So he would make, every time we had a big holiday dinner, he would make coquille Saint-Jacques, which is the scallop and the cheese and the cream in a scallop shell. Not necessarily Italian, but that would become part of the Italian meal. And I looked so forward to having that little scallop shell made by the cop. You know, it was so good. And then you'd stop, you'd have a little taste of wine, and then you'd have maybe a little fish, and then maybe you'd have some crab, and then you'd have a pasta. And all of a sudden, it's like 4 hours later, you know. But their sauces were made right there, fresh.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
yours.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
And it was really great.
Because when you have, it's just like, if you go like that, the sauce is all diluted.
It's dead.
There's just no texture.
It's just dead.
You know, that's what happens to many of those guys. You know that they.
But that's what everybody's used to. Yeah, unfortunately, because of processed foods again, bottles of Chef Boyardee and ragu and all. You just buy it, put it in a pot, eat it up, put it on spaghetti.
And the spaghetti's not even
spaghetti's
the right
not even
way.
cooked right. But people are used to that taste until they try something different.
Exactly.
You got to step out of that mold and try something different, and it's better for you.
It's very funny. I'll tell you a quick story. Mel Brooks, he used to go to the restaurant a lot. He was married to Miss Bancroft, and he came over a party at 6, and he said to me, "I want spaghetti and meatballs, but I don't want the spaghetti to be al dente. I want it
Cooked.
well done." He said, "I don't want anything else. If it comes al dente, I throw it out."
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah, okay. We don't have that kind of thing unless you have to boil it more.
Right.
Right? So yeah, he had to actually heat up the pasta more, and that's the way he loved
You
that.
like it mushy.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's the way these people are. They want that.
Yeah.
We had tremendous people. I mean, Rod Steiger, he always wanted to have the lamb cacciatore,
Oh, yeah.
which I have it now at the restaurant. And you like chicken cacciatore, which
Your chicken cacciatore this is nothing like it. I haven't had that since I ate at the Capra's house in New York, in the Bronx. That's the best cacciatore I've had since then. Yeah, it's really great.
this is, when are you going to come back and have that, the chicken cacciatore?
Yeah, I got to call you and have arranged to have a cacciatore night.
Yeah.
I'm so hooked on your fish and your shrimp that I forget about everything else.
The shrimp is nice, too.
Yeah.
Next week, do you like the Monterey shrimp, the big ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love the shrimp. I love the mussels.
But the Monterey shrimp, you don't have to peel them, you just eat them.
No, they're perfect.
You know, they
That,
eat
some
the
fresh
caviar.
sauce, a little pasta, and a little salad, glass of wine. There you are.
Wonderful. I think it's been wonderful to have a great talk with Dr. Bruce West. We're having an incredible time. Hopefully you come back and join us again to have these incredible, things about your medicines and your people. And don't forget to come to Alberto's restaurant if you want to enjoy a great meal like Dr. West and other people. And try to enjoy the linguine and clams, very fresh. And if you mention this program, you will be able to get a glass of wine on me, whatever kind you want, a white, a red, or a rosé. Remember, Alberto's restaurant, located in 1219 Forest Avenue, Pacific Grove. So, arrivederci from now. We'll see you soon in my 10th program. God bless you. Arrivederci. Grazie. Thank you, Dr. West.
Thank you.
Thank you.